Feminism has become something of a dirty word in certain circles.
Oh, I couldn't possibly wonder why it's become such a dirty word. I mean, it's not that feminists have been naming and shaming people on the internet, have done nothing for men's rights, even though they say they have, promoting censorship. I mean, I could go on, but it seems to me that there's a lot of reasons why it has become such a dirty word.
Lately, a lot of high-profile women like Shailene Woodley, Meryl Streep, and Marion Cotillard have gone on record saying they are not feminists.
There's even a group called Women Against Feminism.
Well, I wonder why these celebrities have said that they are not feminists. It's not because, they have a mind of their own and they've decided that, you know what? I've weighed up the facts and I've decided that feminism is far too extreme, far too much of a man-hating, censorious ideology that cannot be questioned, and basically will shame anyone who isn't a feminist. So I don't want to be a feminist. I'd rather be an egalitarian, because I understand that all genders and all peoples have problems. And these women in this group that you are shocked to discover exists are there for a reason. They are there because people like you are spreading bullshit and propaganda, and it's hurting people. It is literally hurting people. But, never mind me. I mean, these people are just strange anomalies. I mean, it's not that they can't be part of the 80% of the population that aren't feminist.
But what are these women really saying when they declare they aren't feminists?
Well, any Tom, Dick and Harry, I mean, I'm sorry, I need to use more gender-neutral terms. Any Tory, Delilah, and Hermione with a rational and fairly normal brain can deduce that they're just not feminists for a variety of different reasons. They're just saying that. They are not feminists. There's not any kind of secret, metaphoric meaning under those words. When they say they're not feminists, they are not feminists. And their reasons are as wide and various as, I don't know, a species of berries.
What they think they're saying is, I don't hate men, I love men.
I don't think women are better than men.
I'm not that kind of woman. The crazy, bra-burning, feminazi kind. I'm a cool woman.
I don't want to put women above men.
I like how you strawman these people and assume that every woman who is not a feminist says these things. Yes, there are some women who say this. I know that Lady Gaga has said that she loves men. But that's because she literally loves men. She cannot motivate herself to hate men like you two hate men. And, even if some women do say this, the vast majority do not. The vast majority are well politically informed. But you see, you're trying to accuse them of almost like wrong think and saying, oh, you're not actually thinking this. You think you may be saying that, we love men, we want parity, we want equity, we want equality, we don't want to spread stuff like female superiority, we just want everyone to be equal, and basically trying to imply that they want the world to be unequal and they want men to rule them, which is what I think you mean when you strawman them in such a way.
For anyone who needs a refresher, this is what feminism means at its core.
Feminist, a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes.
Oh, girls, you are so close yet so far. You're absolutely wrong. It doesn't mean that at all. I mean, yeah, sure, that's a dictionary definition, but here's a dictionary definition of North Korea. It's a democratic socialist republic. Anyone with some keen eyesight, hell, even Stevie Wonder, who is blind, can see that North Korea is not a democratic socialist republic, is it? It's not democratic at all. It's the actions of the country that speak louder than the definition of it. And this is feminism in a nutshell. You claim to be about this, but your actions suggest otherwise. Loads of feminist groups in America have campaigned against dual custody of children in regards to the familial courts, where men are getting absolutely routinely trashed in favour of women, because apparently women are better parents because of their gender. And let's not forget, and Skeptor tells this all the time, this story, in Israel the law was going to be changed to include non-penetrative rape. So men can be safe under the law and women can go to jail for being rapists. That isn't statutory rape, of course. Feminists opposed it, saying that this could somehow demean female victims of rape, as if the rapist who raped them could just go and say, oh no, they raped me, which is absolute bullshit, and the law was never passed. Feminists actively campaign against equality. And let's not forget that when people try to create more men's shelters, more men's groups, so that men can have their own safe spaces, because everyone knows that every group needs their own safe spaces, feminists tried to shut it down. Bane666AU told the story of how a boy who lost two friends, or at least one friend, to suicide, I cannot remember the exact number, he tried to create some kind of men's group. He wasn't a men's rights activist. He wasn't a feminist either. He just wanted to create a group for men so they can discuss their problems and, just have a group to call their own. The feminists said no. The university said no, unless that group was part of the women's group. As if it was part of the women's society. You can't have a men's society unless it's, run by the women's society. You tried to shut it down. You tried to shut down male shelters. That's why there's so few male shelters. But let's not forget also that feminists have routinely tried to hide domestic violence statistics to skew it to look as if it's women who suffer more, when actually it is 50-50. Erin Pitsey, who released her book about domestic violence, saying that it isn't a gender problem, it is an economic, sociological problem. She was harassed, she was threatened, she was, put all the types of the terrorist type activities you can think of to try and silence a person. The feminists did to her. She was forced to go to exile several times, in fact. And yet apparently feminism is for the equality of all sexes. You couldn't be more wrong.
Hating men and being a feminist are actually not connected at all.
Tycker du det är okej att ni hyllar en bok som säger att manlighet är en bristsjukdom och att mannen är en biologisk olycka?
Fast jag vill inte kommentera det, som det här är ju en insändare i tidningen. Jag vill inte gå ut och kommentera och prata för hela rörelsen att den står under. Förstår du?
Men i eran tidning så har de hyllar ni det här manifestet som säger att att män är djur och maskiner och vandrande dildos. Ja. Står du för det?
Ja, det står jag för.
Män är djur.
Män är djur. Tycker inte du? Tycker inte du?
Really? Really? Let's not also forget the Scum Manifesto by Valerie Solanas calls for the eradication of men as a gender. So, yeah, apparently feminism and man-hating is totally not connected at all.
Not even a little bit.
Feminism is about equality of the sexes, but right now, one sex has a lot more power than the other.
Well, really, prove it. What can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So, please, tell me how one gender doesn't have more power than the other, when the courts overwhelmingly rule in favour of women across the board. Women get less time for crimes than men, i.e. the same crime. A female murderer will get less time than the male murderer. A woman is actually more likely to get away with statutory rape because boys will be boys, they wanted it, they asked for it, which is funny because when we say that about women, we're misogynists. Women are highly favoured in the courts, the familial courts, I may add, and divorce courts. I know I said before about the familial courts, but I'll say it again. In fact, I'll be using these again because The next segment coming up talks about male oppression and how, well, you'll have to wait and see, people. Spoilers. So apparently women don't have power. Women also have full reproductive rights over their bodies and can use this against men if they are horrible. I'm sure some of you have seen Marking Bad's video where he shows a scenario that someone written on Reddit, and it shows a man who met a woman. He didn't want to have children, she did, and they basically ended up having a baby because she didn't take her birth control pills, and there was no way of knowing if the kid was his or not, and he had to end up paying everything because apparently he was the dad, even though he never said he was, because he happened to ask to pay for an abortion, at least half of the abortion, and then the courts do their thing, the woman gets alimony and he has to pay the child support, etc, etc, and it just goes on from there.
Men are not systematically oppressed based on their gender, and that's a fact.
Yes, it is. I already showed you examples. In the courts, civil and criminal, men are systematically oppressed, and especially when it goes down to race. But gender trumps racial oppression of men when it comes to the courts. Overwhelmingly so. I've already explained that before. And let's not forget this. Men, in order to be able to vote, have to be drafted and potentially fight a war. Women don't have to be drafted in order to vote. Women have the entire educational system devoted to them. Men do not. That is why there's 65% of women in universities and 35% of men in universities. That's why women get better grades on average. That is why women end... But apparently men aren't systematically oppressed.
But women are, and that's a fact too.
Citation needed. But you see, white women in the Western world are the most privileged class in the entire world. Yes, I'm using class in ways that you might understand it, feminists. White women have full rights to their reproductive bodies, etc. You know, they have full rights to their bodies. They don't have to fight in order to vote, or at least sign up to the draft. They are favoured in every single court case and system. They are favoured when it comes to education. They now earn more than men. In fact, they earn more than men in Denmark, I think it is. Yeah, apparently that's a good thing for you. That's equality. Men earning less than women, you know? Women don't have articles being written about them from a highly prejudiced point of view in the mainstream media. We just, you know, apparently white women are oppressed. Sure, women are oppressed in third world countries, but, you know, we're not talking about those women. We're not talking about those people. They don't exist. We're talking about the Western world where apparently women are systematically oppressed. Mitch's Law, people.
So if you believe any of the following,
reproductive rights.
I do, but I would love that to be extended to men, because right now we don't have any other form of birth control than condoms, which are only 97% effective and can be used against us by, you know, crazy women who want babies and could potentially try and use that to get money off us. We cannot opt out of parenthood. We cannot, you know, not want to be a father. We are forced to be fathers. If not, we go to jail, or we are fined, or whatever. You know, we just cannot opt out of parenthood like women can. Women can put their baby up for adoption if they choose to go through the pregnancy or have an abortion. Men don't have that. Men can't say, I don't want this kid, and leave. We can't. So apparently you believe in reproductive rights, yet you will not extend that to men. Yeah, apparently that's feminism. I'm a feminist because I believe in reproductive rights for all. But of course, you don't mean for all. You just mean for women because you're called feminists.
Equal pay for equal work.
Aye, milady. I do. But it's an earnings gap, not a wage gap. I know what you're trying to say.
Seeing diverse bodies, ethnicities, and gender expressions on screen and in magazines.
That has nothing to do with feminism. But, you know, feminism loves to inject itself into other things. So, you know, in order to survive and in order to, you know, convert more people to its cause and to co-opt things because it has an insatiable need for control.
Providing education to 62 million girls who don't have access to it.
Oh sure, I believe in that, but what about the boys who don't have access to education? Oh, fuck them, they're male.
Ending sexual violence.
Yeah, you see, for feminists, sexual violence only happens to women, not men, because it doesn't happen to men. Only men can rape.
Having women in government, having women CEOs.
I don't care, as long as they can do the job, but you just want people in there because they're women rather than because they're good at the job. You know, quotas. Quotas don't work, mate. They don't work. Norway tried it. It's called the Norway gender paradox or something, where they tried to get more men as nurses, more women as politicians, in STEM fields, etc., etc. But it never happened because women don't want to work those jobs. Men do. Or men don't want to work in nursing. Women do. So it ain't going to work unless you force women to do it, which is what you people always suggest we do.
You know, basic gender equality.
Which you have proven that you do not believe in, but I do.
Surprise!
You're probably a feminist.
No, actually, I'm a gender egalitarian, but never mind. I mean, you are definitely feminists, because only you care about these issues if it affects women, and not everyone else.
Feel free to identify or not identify any way you want. But if you say you're not a feminist, at least understand what the term actually means.
So I understand what the term means, you know, because you just gave me the dictionary definition. So I can call myself an egalitarian, but at the same time I have to understand what feminism means, even though I completely understand what it means. Oh, stop. Oh, you know what? Don't confuse me. You know, whatever. That's stupid.
And if you think that you're a humanist...
Ziva, we gotta go. We just don't have time for this today.
Uh-oh. You're being racist. You just shut up a black person speaking. Oh dear, white-splaining. But it's okay when feminists and white girls do it. When white guys do it, when mixed race guys do it, when anybody else does it, oh, sexist, racist, or both. Anyway, people, there you have it. 2 feminists showing that they are not for gender equality at all. This has been ShowingMan93. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all later.